Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's live video. How are we all today? Another chilly day here in Western Australia. It's that cold. I've had to give in and the heating's actually on, so hopefully that won't come over the mic. I've hopefully got it all tuned so it doesn't come out. So how are we going? I've already asked that, haven't I? I don't know. Repeating myself already. Let's jump into the comments. So let's get this mouse to work. We got Blonde Scales 1. Good evening from Arkansas. Is this popping up? Ah, that's better. There we go. Blonde Scales 1, welcome to you. Chris Robinson, good morning all. Hopefully of where you are in, was it Queensland? I think it was Queensland. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer for you than it is here. Alia Rose, hi from Pennsylvania. We've got Ted from Seattle, hello to you. Anita, hi from Florida. Andreas, good morning one and all. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. BJ, hello everyone. Greetings to everybody so far. Let me just do a refresh of the comment page. There we go. We've got Ricardo. Good morning everybody. Good morning to you, Ricardo. Well, today we're going to try a full one. So I'm going to do my talking point today as well as doing all the normal stuff that I would do. John, greetings from New York. Welcome to you, John. Just do another refresh. Okay, today's talking point. This was something that was asked for a few weeks ago. This is what I refer to as my repair box. People asked what's in there, so I thought we'd have a quick look through what's in here. People might be able to give me ideas for you. People might be able to give me ideas of other things that I need, or really how I can better organise it, because at the moment it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, as you see. So the box that it's in, this was from, I think it was Bunnings, which is like a DIY chain here in Australia. And I think it's what people use to like keep screws and stuff sorted. I don't know, I'm not a handyman. I've got no idea what all this handy stuff is. But it's a good, case for me to use. So I'll just pop it over there. Chris, 18 degrees C in Toowoomba. Wow, that's nice and warm at the moment. Here, it's currently 9 centigrade, which is freezing. Oh, at least it feels like it's freezing. Right, let me go over to the overhead view. So here we've got the box. So I've got a couple of clips there that fasten it. Let's see what's in here. We'll look at them in a second. So we're going to start at the front. So over on this side, I've got some converters. So I've got a load of Con 40 converters here. There's 3 of them. Stood in the packaging. I must have got a job lot. I've had them for ages. Oh, there's another one as well. So I've got 4 Con 40s. It's a good chance to organise this as I'm going through, isn't it? I've got a empty cartridge. And I've also got a spare Sailor converter there. Let me just pull these out, then I can better show you. So I've got a number of converters there. Also in there that I've pulled out, I've got various of, so we've got 2 Twisbys. Let's take that blue off there. So these are for disassembling my Twisby Ecos. Let's pop them back in there. And I've got this. I think this is from, I don't know, some toolbox somewhere. But it does sort of fit some of my other pens. So if I need to take the converters off, it does give me a bit of an idea. Let me just move these out. Then we'll move over to the other side. Yep, there it is. So we've got here, this is a craft knife. What I use this for is when I've got a pen, it's got really bad ink flow. What I occasionally do is, after I've tried everything with the actual nib part, where we've got the channels that run down come on, Gary, brain's dead today. That run down the feed. I'll use this and I'll just slightly deepen those channels. The idea being that's going to allow a little bit more ink flow, and usually that then does it. And if I've got a really dry pen and I want to make it wetter, again, I'll do the same thing. Just gently run this down a few times just to deepen that channel a little bit. So that sits in there. Where will it go in? Well, maybe if I put it in the right way around. I've also got this. I borrowed it from my wife. This is an emery board. And what I do is I use this if I want to make some like bigger changes to a nib, you know, because this is fairly coarse. So we've got the white layer and we've got the red layer. The white layer is the coarser layer. So that lets me do a little bit of work on my nibs if I want, as I say, to be really, really rough with it. Also in here, I've got some micro mesh. I've got 2 of them. One of them's unused. So again, this is all about smoothing down my nibs. All right, let's go to this side. Then what I've got in here is, oh, what's that doing there? I've got an empty packet. So that's 2000 grit micro mesh. I actually got this as part of a set from Goulet pens. I've got an unused brass shim. I've got a couple of these. I've got these all over. These are what I use if I'm going to take the nib and feed out. These are like rubber grips, give you a bit more grip without having to press too hard. So I've got a couple of them in there. Always handy to have. I've got a couple of brass shims that I'm currently using. I know they're quite beaten up now. I've got a converter. What converter is this? It's a Parker converter, there we go. And I've also started to get my nibs. I've got various nibs in here. I don't label them up too much because most of the nibs have got on what they are. Just spinning around to get my loop. So this one, it's a Wingsun medium nib. And then over here, again, very similar to what I used this for. I just find it's easier to use these than this rubber gripper. And then in here again, I've started to get some nibs. So that one I've got labelled, that's a Moonman. What size is it? It's a Moonman fine nib. Here I've got a Bock nib. So this is a medium Bock nib. So when I ordered the pen from Ron Garry, it came with actually 2 nibs, a broad and a medium. So this is the medium nib. So I've got that there if I want to use it. And again, we've got more nibs in here. Oh, more. Let's see, can I get one? Oh, there we go. So this one, I think that's some, I think they're both Yoho nibs. And again, we've got various loose ones. If I know what the nib is, I say I don't bother labelling it. So again, here we've got, I had a Wingsun 699 that didn't work very well, so I pulled that nib out. Oh, this one is empty. The Kaweco converter. I'll leave that in there in case I take the converter out. What have we got here? Pen Chalet Bock M. And these are some more nibs. Again, I think these are Goulet Pens Yoho nibs. And I think they're similar as well. Couple of more wrenches. Oh, helps if I pull it down so you can see. A couple more wrenches. We've got nothing in that one but the label. I'm not going to take the labels out. This is Kiwi Pen's Cursive Italic nib. So that's there ready to go into a pen. What have we got? Jinhao Medium. And what's that? That should be over here. Here's one of the Kaweco converters. Little tiny, next to no ink capacity at all. And then, what else have I got? Got more nibs. And this one is labelled. So this is a Kaigaloo long knife nib. So quite a few nibs there ready to go in pens. Let me just pop these all back in. Then, just sitting on top of this, again, it came as part of that Goulet pens thing. So I've got here 0.3 micron Mylar paper. And I've also got 1 micron mylar paper. So they just sit on the top. So that's what's in the repair kit. The other thing I have, obviously, is I've got my loop. That sits on a shelf behind me. So that's the repair kit. Very quick tour. Pop that down behind me. Move on, scoot on over again. Let's look through the comments. Mr. Inky Fingers, hello from Michigan. Welcome to you. Anita, dancing in the tropical heat wave. I bet you are. Can't wait for summer to start again here. I know I complain when it's hot, I complain when it's cold. Today's mug is a Batman mug, and I've got my usual peppermint tea in here. Chris Robinson, the ink sample bottles are good to put nibs in and keep them organised. Yeah, I do find it's a nice way for like the expensive nibs. I mean, expensive, you're talking $15-ish. They're really handy. Whereas like all the Chinese ones, as you can see, I don't really bother too much. I just like to keep things. So if I have a pen which doesn't really work at all, I'll pull it apart and I'll keep all the spare parts. Marie, hi from Michigan. Welcome to you. Ricardo, same here. I don't mind that converter apart from not being able to disassemble it. I think that's the Con 40. Chris, anything can be disassembled if you're determined enough. Absolutely. BJ, I've taken mine apart. Ricardo, lol. Let me just refresh the comments. Where are we? We've got Metal Fox. Hi from, I'm just going to say Mexico. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that first word. I'm sorry. I would completely butcher it. I really do apologise, but I'd rather not butcher things if I can avoid it. You very rarely notice it, but I do actually have a slight speech impediment, and complex words are very, very difficult. What you'll notice on my videos where there's some like jumps is where I edit out where I get a bit of a stutter, or where a particular, like more like a phrase sometimes than a word, where I can't do it. You'll see me jumping over, and sometimes it might take me 4 or 5 attempts to get out my thought, because I have to reword it until I can get it in a format that it'll actually get my come out of my mouth in a sensible way. Mr. Inky Fingers, glad to see you back. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I missed doing these. I just didn't feel, I'm not going to say well enough, I just didn't feel that I could do it justice by doing it with the way I was feeling at the time, which is why I didn't do them. But now I'm feeling, I'm not going to say I'm feeling normal. I mean, I'm feeling nearly human now, but I'm quite happy now doing these. And I say I missed them, and it's part of, you should be able to do what you enjoy. One last refresh of the comments, and then we'll go into writing. Okay, let's head on over back to the overhead camera. I'll fetch in my notepad. So this is, I know I don't say this every week, this is Midori paper, and it's the cotton paper. Really nice. You can see here, got a bit of show through from last week's pens. That was where I was doing a bit of a scribble to try and show the shimmers. So the pens that I've been using this week, and I knew I didn't do something right. Let me just get my script up on the correct screen. There we go. So the first pen, the pen I've been using all week. That's not even the right script. I don't know. I should be fired. Right, that's better. So the pen I was using all week, this is where I was doing my responses to the quotes on my daily quotes. This is the Narwhal 365. So there's only 365 of these made. This is, the material is Jonathan Brooks Primary Manipulation at 3.5. Very pretty. I'll just hold it up a bit closer. So we've got loads of different colours in here. So it's the narwhal shape. We've got an ink window, a nice ink window. Personally, I would like it just a little bit wider, but it's usable, it's functional, which is really all that matters. Now, I've had problems with this. I don't know how, but when I was using it one time, I managed to completely unscrew the piston mechanism. So I've got it back in as well as I can, but with all the messing around, this end is a little bit loose. Doesn't bother me. So the material is in the section as well. Got a nice fit in the hand. On here, I've got a broad Goulet Pens Yoho nib. When I bought it, I could only get a medium, and the medium was nice. It worked really well. But when I got this broad nib, I thought, yeah, let's shove it in there. And I think the black works well with the rest of the resin. So we've got a Narvalleur. I have to say that, otherwise I'll write the other word. And it's the 365, and it's from the 2021. I believe it's called the Cano Cristals. It's a broad nib. Price for this, you're looking, when I bought it, it was 241 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Herban, and it's Terre de Fouet. Hopefully I've spelled that right. Let me check. Yep, EU. I keep putting UE. Nice brown ink, earthy coloured ink. Terre de Fouet, I think, means fire of the earth or something similar to that. And I think with this, yeah, it's a nice match there. It's an enjoyable pen though. I love this Nautilus shape. Next pen. So this is a Tasmanian, so it's a handmade pen. And it's called Golden Sassafras, so the wood Golden Sassafras. Beautiful pen. I love the shape. I love how it bulges out in the cap. And we get this beautiful colouring now. I've had this a couple of years, and you can see as I've been using it, the wood's darkening up a little bit. And I do think that gives it more character. Yes, it's a kit pen. It doesn't bother me. You know, a pen's there to write with, and it looks nice. It feels nice. Section, yes, is a bit on the thin side. Now it's nearly out of ink, so we've got a push-pull converter. What I've done, because it's nearly out of ink, I've just pushed that converter down to hopefully get a bit of ink into the feed. I was meant to have been using this one yesterday as well, but it was out of ink, so it just didn't write. It's a nice pen though, small nib, writes really well. So we've got here a Tasmanian, pushing that down, Tasmanian. I'm just going to call it Golden Sassafras. I believe the Golden Sassafras is native to Queensland, but it's made in Tasmania. This is a fine nib, and it cost me a massive whopping $20. The ink is by Diamine, and it's dusted truffle. It's nice, it's enjoyable. I like using this pen. I say it's small. It's one of those, I like using it, but I don't get it out often enough, which is a shame because I say the pen itself writes really well. I say the section, that's the only thing which I really quibble about. Up next, we've got another fairly thin pen. This is the Parker Jotter. Got this beautiful dark blue there. This pen is as old as my son. I know that because it's got the markings on there for when it was made, and it was made in the same quarter that my son was born in. So yeah, same age as my son, which is what, 27 years. Can't believe he's 27 years old, I tell you. Another cartridge converter. There we've got that Parker converter. I've got a spare converter, as we saw. I'm agitating the pen because most of the inks this month are shimmer inks. So we've got here a Parker, jotter. It's got a double broad Kaweco nib. I've told the story many times. Price wise, you're looking to buy these brand new, 20 Aussie dollars. The ink, as I said, it's Diamine and it's Blizzard. I quite like this ink. I love the base colour, and then if you can catch it right, you've got this gorgeous silver sheen on it. I'm just trying to move my I've lost my mouse. There we go. Where's that mouse gone? I'm just moving my script up so I've got the last pens on there. So that's the Parker Jotter. The next pen, I've had a horrible time with this. This is the Marjon C3. Transparent blue, beautiful. I love the look of the pen. We've got a roll stop, really nice. I think that works really well, that roll stop. I love being able to see through to it. It's plastic. This top, although it looks like it, it's all one piece. So I believe you'd be able to eyedropper this. I haven't tried it. I may eventually, but at the moment, something I've not tried. Got the converter in there. I've just filled this again with the same. I've just filled this again, but it's got a different ink than I started the month with. Again, I'd started the month with a shimmer ink, and I've had a really horrible time with the nib. It was drying out really, really quickly. You know, if I was writing and maybe pause for 2 or 3 seconds, the nib would dry out. I'd have to prime the feed. It was giving me a very nice wide line. I think the issue there is the nib was broken. I'm trying to come up with polite ways of describing it. I was using very different words at the time. What I then did, I thought, oh, stuff this. I want to enjoy my pen, so I've swapped the nib. What I did is I took a nib from a Jinhao 992 and I popped that in here. So it's a fine Jinhao nib. And the day that I did that, the rest of my writing was perfectly fine, worked really well. Now, it's been sat for a few days, so I last used this on Wednesday, so it's been sat, 4 days now? Let's see if this writes. So we've got here a Marjon. Yep, and look at that, straight off, C3 with a fine nib. Price for the pen, 28 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine, and it's Seize the Night. So it's another Inkvent ink. I'll talk about that in a little bit because I've seen there's a comment about Inkvent inks in the chat. So yeah, now I've changed the nib, it seems to be a lot nicer. So let's see how it goes for the rest of the month. Up next, Hongdian Black Forest. This is the Light of Hope. Beautiful blue pen. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got another cartridge converter. It's metal, I believe aluminium. There you are, that was one of the words I'm struggling with. Also, we have a blue nib on here. Pen is very thin. That's one of the downsides of it. I know there's now a Black Forest Max, so I might keep an eye out and see if they have a similar colour to this in the Max version, just for that extra bit of width. It's the name. I love the name of this pen, The Light of Hope. What better name can you have? So we've got Hongdian, The Light of Hope. Feels like it's dragging a bit on this paper. It's actually nice. I do like a little bit of tactileness when I'm writing. Price-wise, 32 Aussie dollars. Most of the prices I've checked and updated last week. The price for this pen, we've done the price. The ink is, again, it's Diamine. And it's Storm. Again, it's another one. I quite like the look of it. I like the colour. And again, we've got a shimmer in here. So that's a Hongdian, The Light of Hope. We're going to go to Germany next for the Kaweco Sport. This is the green version. This is one of the things that niggles me. I wish this was the other way around, because I've thought it this way if I want to see the wording, but that's how I tend to hold my pens, and I think that's how most people hold the pens. So the name's backwards. Just a little tiny quibble. I love this octagon shape. Obviously pocket pen, and in here I've got that Kaweco converter. What I do with these is I actually try filling them from the bottle. I normally get frustrated, so I use my syringe. So it's an all plastic pen, fairly light pen. Nice fit in the hand though. And there we've got a broad nib. So we've got a Kaweco Sport with a broad nib. Price wise, 43 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine. Merry and bright. I love the name of this ink. I actually like the colour. I like greens. This is a very nice bright green. And again, it's got that shimmer in it. So if I can get this mixed up enough, which I don't think I have here, get this lovely pop of shimmer when I'm writing. So that's Kaweco Sport. The final pen for the week. This is a Schaefer Prelude. Black and gold. Really love this. Looks really classic. Got a little bit of weight to it. Keep forgetting that. The cap pulls off. Let's unscrew that. Loads of threads there. Here we've got a converter. Not sure if it's metal, but the body's metal anyway, so wouldn't even think about eyedropper in this. This black continues into the section. The nib is a Schaefer pen, but I believe Mr. Pen has what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, my brain's gone dead. Anyway, he's taken it, he's worked on it, and he's turned it into a medium cursive italic nib. Let me see if I can hold that up a bit closer for you. I always thought it was Mr. Pen nib, but I noticed actually yesterday it's got the word Schaefer on there. So we've got here a Schaefer. I keep wanting to put a SCH, so it's the Prelude. This was actually a gift from a viewer, and I absolutely love it. I love the line with this cursive italic. Price for this, you're looking at about 94 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine, and it's Sugar Snap. Again, a shimmer ink. When I loaded all these pens with shimmer inks, I thought I was going to have a bit of a problem with it, but so far I've had no issues, so it's actually working out quite nicely. So that's the Schaefer Prelude. So that's the pens that I've been using this week. Let's go back to the camera, scoot on over, and we'll go back to the comments. Oh, there's loads of comments. Chris, I've got a speech impediment too. It's called foot in mouth disease. Yeah, I definitely have that. My issue is actually with my tongue. My tongue is very, very long, so it gets caught up in my teeth and all over the place. When I was a kid, I had to have speech therapy for a few years just to get so I could say this. I mean, I couldn't say loads of letters and loads of words. BJ, that's a big one. Andreas, that's very colourful, a bit adventurous for me, but kind of intrigued by the Bruts material. It is. I mean, it is a sizable pen. I've got fairly large hands though, so it works really well. Beautiful. I would absolutely love the looks of that. Normally, when it's uninked, it sits in the box behind me. In there, that's where I keep my nice-looking pens. BJ, yeah, a bit too much going on for me as well. Yeah, it isn't a simple material. There's lots in there. Blonde Scales 1, I like all the colours in it. I do. I love the green, but green's my favourite colour. Will, hello all. Great to see you. Sorry, a bit late. Hope all is well. Welcome to you, Will. Ali Rose, my oldest is 27 as well. I know, 27, horrible age. He's got his own mind now. I know, I'm making him sound like a kid, aren't I? It's quite funny though, the way he acts sometimes. BJ, I've rarely settled into my 823 and 912. The understated pens just seem right in my hand. If I get too much going on, it seems to draw my attention away from my writing. Yeah, I can understand exactly where you're coming from. I see all of this week's pens are all very simple looking, apart from that one. Next week's pen for my replies is another simple looking one. Bloody expensive though. It's my Visconti Homo Sapiens. Love that pen. Wow, it's so nice. Blonde Scales 1, keep the shimmer irritated. Yeah, I'm quite good at irritating shimmer. I mean, my wife says I'm quite good at irritating her. Andreas, Garry, how are the Inkavent calendar inks performing for you? I've got loads but haven't actually used them yet. Are they good inks? Would you buy any larger bottles? So this is why when I was talking about the Inkavents earlier on, I held off because I saw this was there. To me, the ones I've used so far, actually not bad. I'm quite enjoying them. What I'm doing is, up to a few months ago, I had loads of samples, so now I've used all them up. So now my current focus is to use up all my Inkavent inks. I've got 3 years worth of them. So that's why you'll notice there's loads of Inkavent inks. And going forward, I think for the next couple of years, 90% of the inks that I'm going to be using will be Inkavent inks. So when I'm inking anything up, the idea is I will use an Inkavent ink in it unless there's a very specific reason not to. So like this wooden one here with a Herband tear de fouet, I just thought that that would look nice in this pen. Oh no, that's the wrong pen, isn't it? I don't know. With this one, with the Narwhal, I thought with the colours, the tear de fouet would look really nice. You know, and I don't want to be boring and using the same, manufacturer's inks all the time. So yes, there will be some which aren't. You know, I've got me Pilot nib, I've got some Irishoku nibs, some Van Diemen inks, some Dominant Industry, some Robert Oster. So I will still be using them, but most of the time, I say unless there's a real good reason, I'll be using Inkavent inks, and they perform really well. Really pleased with how those shimmer inks are going. I was a bit concerned when I was making my selection, thinking, are they going to block the feeds? Am I going to have issues? But I haven't. It's worked really well. Will, let me just get this. There we go. I've been allured to brown inks lately. So many choices. I do. When I got back into pens, if you'd have said to me, Garry, you're going to like brown inks, I'd have said, no, you're lying to me. I do really enjoy brown inks. Out of choice, I've got to be honest, most of the pens, if I was said, right, you can put a certain colour in, most of them would actually have brown in. I do like brown, and it really surprised me. Chris, red and brown inks are great, they are. BJ Brown Ink rocks. Diatramentis Document Brown is my most used ink. BJ agreed. BJ Oxblood and Ancient Copper are excellent. Yeah, I've got both of those. I really like both of them. I've got Oxblood in my Platinum 3776 Burgoyne. Perfect partnership there. Chris, my favourite Inkavent ink is Bar Humbug. Use it for writing cards and recipes. I like Bar Humbug. I love the name Bar Humbug. That's my favourite saying over the Christmas period. So yeah, I do like. Again, it's not been in many pens because I'd been using the samples, so I'll have to get that into a pen maybe in a couple of months' time. BJ, I like to draw in documents brown and paint over it with watercolours. So much fun. So I'm guessing that's why I use certainly use that Document Brown. Is Document Brown a permanent ink? Chris, it's a sparkly ink, but it seems to work well in my 9019 with a medium nib. Blonde Scales 1, yeah, same as me. I love the name Bar Humbug. BJ, Diamine has so many good inks. They do. They seem to be coming out with all sorts of different colours. Part of the reason why I'm on a bind freeze is I've got so many Diamine inks. I would say 3/4 of my ink collection are Diamine inks. And if I didn't buy another ink, chances are just the Diamines would last me till for the rest of my life. Chris, Diamine has too many good inks. I think I've already said that one. Oh no, yep. Alia Rose, Diamine ink, usually pretty dependable. Yeah, I find that. So if I have a pen which I'm struggling with, I usually put a Diamine ink in there. Most often, if I've got a really troublesome pen, I'll try writer's blood first. I find that's really, really wet and usually good for making sure that you've got some nice ink flow. Will Hodge, the Jinhao 9013 has turned out to be a great pocket pen for me. Fits nicely, doesn't bottom out before it's clipped in the pocket well. Yep, so I've got a 9013. It's arrived. I haven't filmed my first impressions of it yet. That will be getting filmed, I can't remember when, sometime in the next couple of weeks, I think. But it doesn't go out till sometime in August, I think. Let's see if I can tell you. Just pull up this. I wonder, just going to try something. Right, you're going to see something weird because I don't know if this is going to work or not. I've been playing with trying to get my iPad screen to show. Is it going to come through? Helps if I plug the right cable in. Let me plug this cable in. Are we going to get anything? Yes, there we go. There's the iPad screen. So this is, again, one of my own developed apps. This is where you can see my schedules of what I'm going to record. So here we've got the Jinhao 9013. Going to record on the 3rd, so actually next week, on Wednesday. And it will be published on the 11th of August. So if you're interested, this is a little bit behind the scenes. This is how I know what I'm using and when I'm using it. So let's go back to the camera. Glad that worked. Let me just swap the cables over. If I have the iPad plugged into the computer, because of how I'm going through various hubs, it doesn't charge. That's why I've just now swapped over so it's got a charging cable. So yeah, like the 9013. So I'm doing that then in I can't remember when it is, maybe a month or so. Give me a chance to use the pens. I'm going to record a comparison between the 9019, 9016 and 9013. Let me find the mouse. There we go. BJ, I wish they had more permanent inks. I've not really had experience with permanent inks, so that'd be quite interesting. Mr. Inky Fingers, did you ever get the Faber-Castell Hexo? I've got the blue and black versions with medium nibs and use them frequently for drawing. Super smooth nibs, and although I love Safaris, I'd grab a Hexo first. Sorry. So I've got a story here with that one. I'll see you. Sorry. Need to keep blowing my nose today. So, as I've said over the past few weeks, I've done. I was going to do an order from Appleboom. I did that Sunday last week. I actually placed the order. So I've ordered the Delta pen. I think it's Delta Reflex. I've also ordered the Opus 88 Omar. And when I did the order, they came to, I'm going to say about $30 below the threshold for free shipping. And the shipping was almost the cost of that. So I thought, right, come on, Garry, you're being stupid here. Is there another pen? So I went looking and looking and looking. I just wanted a pen, to be honest, to take me over that free shipping amount. And I actually settled on a Faber-Castell Hexo. So I've never used one, but I've now got one on order. So that's going to be coming with my other pens from Appleboom. Now, that order is going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get here. Because obviously they don't carry the Delta pens in stock. They order them when somebody places an order. So there's like a 1 to 2 week delay, which is fine. They're very clear about that on their website. So, yeah, I haven't got one, but I've got one coming. I can't remember when I'll be filming it because obviously I've got to wait till it gets here, then schedule in when I'll film it. Andreas, bar humbug is more like a festive motto to me. Absolutely, I love bar humbug. Chris, the Hexo is great. If I just Safaris and Hexos, I would be happy. Yeah, I struggle with my Safari. I actually did a recorded video this week where I swapped the Safari nib with the Jinhao 80. And I've got to be honest, I quite like the fine nib that came off that Jinhao on the Safari. I've only used it a little bit, but it seems actually quite nicer. Good English there, Gary. BJ, I picked up the Earl Grey Bennu, and it has a lot going on in it, but I've grown to love it because it's such a nice writer. I love my Bennu pen. I've only got the one, and it's the Dragon's Blood. Yeah, my Christmas pen, it's greens, it's reds. To be honest, it's what puts me off a lot of Bennus is the fact that they're just so busy. Finished the tea, so I'm now going to swap to cordial. So this is again in a Star Wars mug this time. This orange cordial. My cordial, I like it really, really weak, which is why it looks so watery. My wife describes it as pea. Will Hodge. The Diamond guitar inks are very nice browns. I think the only one I've got is Tobacco Sunburst. I think that was one of the guitar inks. I like Tobacco Sunburst, one of my favourite browns. I love the shading that I get from it. Metal Thoughts MX, what's your opinion about Lamy Emporium? It would be a good buy, or I could get a better choice. To be honest, I can't comment. I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I've heard of that model. Let me just do a quick Google. See if we can have a quick look at it. Lamy Emporium. So it looks like they're not cheap. About $485 on Pulp Addiction. Come on. Let me just swap over to the screen so you can see what I'm seeing. I'm trying to go to the Lamy website, but it's very slow. Let's stop that. Come on. Lamy Emporium. Yeah, so here we've got Pulp Addiction. Can we get onto that one? Let's have a closer look. So bicoloured, so it's a gold nib, $485 on there. Yeah, it looks alright. It looks like it uses that same type of nib. I've got to be honest, personally, if I was going to spend that sort of money, I would be going for a Sailor or something like that. But that's just me. All right, let's go back to the camera and minimise this. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi. Hello, Miss Marilyn Darling, welcome to you. BJ, Konpeki is my problem child penning. Works in any pen that can work. If it won't write with Konpeki, it's got major problems. Yeah, I do have a couple of Iroshizuku inks that I do something similar as well sometimes. So I've got Momiji and Shinryoku, so it's like a pinky red and a green. And yeah, for problem pens, they're my ink of last resort. Blonde Skills 1, hello MMD. Miss Marilyn Darling, welcome. BJ, hi to MMD. Ricardo, hi Miss Marilyn. Will Hodge, Noodlers is a good selection of waterproof and bulletproof inks. Bulletproof means forgery resistant. Yeah, I've only got one Noodlers ink, and that's it's now called Turquoise of the Mesas. Not Apache Sunset. Navajo Turquoise. I did have a sample of Apache Sunset, which I quite liked. But yeah, definitely Noodlers. I've only got experience with the two, but they seem to be quite nice inks. Will Hola MMD. Evan, greetings from Ontario in Canada. I'm new to the hobby. Thanks for your videos. Just ordered an Asvine P20 and Compeki ink. Looking forward to the new content. Thank you. Welcome to you. I love making the videos. What I try to do is I make videos that I would like to see. And where possible, I try to make them so I avoid jargon, because I know I've watched some videos and they have very technical jargony stuff. Brain's gone dead again. Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. Where was I? Oh yeah, about the videos. Yeah, I try to keep them without jargon, because to me jargon's off-putting, so I try to keep them nice and simple, and I like to try and do things that I would enjoy. Yes, I try and think what other people would like, and if there are any particular videos, please let me know. Can't guarantee when they'll happen, but any suggestion I get, I do put onto my list for future videos. There's well over 100 suggestions on there at the moment. But yeah, so thank you and welcome to you, Evan. Miss Marilyn Darling, welcoming back to BJ, Ricardo, Will and Blonde Scales 1. Blue, it's interesting how one can have a pen they don't care for and it sits there, and one day, years later, you give it a go and end up liking it. Pens really fit moods and periods of our life. Absolutely, that's one of the things I've been noticing. I say, you know, with this one, it sits in my box, but every time I fetch it out, I love it. I love writing with it. It's a pen, when it's inked up, that I reach for. Same with the Parker Jotter. You know, it's a thin pen, it's a light pen. But when it's inked up, I'll reach for it over some of my other pens, even over some of my expensive pens. Miss Marilyn Darling, I'm sorry, any pen that doesn't flex like a wet noodle isn't worth $300. Yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from there. Personally, I'm not a flex writer, but I think when you're talking $300, there needs to be a little tiny bit of give in the nib so you can get some line variation. Miss Marilyn Darling, the cheapest Lamy has the same tipping as that very expensive one, and it's the tipping which is what's touching the paper. Most of them have... what is the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. Some of the more expensive ones that do have a palladium nib, I believe. Why the nib material is different is even steel and gold, they can be a bit soft. The tipping material is made of a metal that's very, very hard, so it doesn't wear as much when you're writing on the paper. What's it called? Iridium. Iridium is what I was looking for. And then there's other ones in that iridium palladium family which sometimes are used as well. BJ's, noodles tend to bleed a bit for me. I just settled on Diatramentis document inks for my permanent choice. Platinum also makes some good permanents. Yeah, I say I've not really explored permanent inks, and to be honest, it's not something I really need, so not sure if I ever will. BJ, Noodler's Polar Black is one of my most used blacks. My black, it's actually hidden behind the board, it's a Noodler's one, and it's Heart of Darkness. Again, I love the name. Miss Marilyn Darling, Diatramentis Document Black is a good black. Platinum Carbon Black is good. Octopus Fluids, Write and Draw series makes coloured permanent inks that are awesome. Hope that helps. Somebody was asking me about black inks. Might have been 2 weeks ago in one of my YouTube comments. So it's good to see that, because I did recommend Platinum Carbon Black, even though I've not used it. Will, welcome to the rabbit hole, Evan, definitely. BJ, use Southwest Sunset a lot in my 912. Great ink for flex. I think that's what was called Apache Sunset. Blonde Scales 1, yes, join us in the rabbit hole. Well, rabbit hole indeed, but I'm enjoying it, absolutely. Sorry, that was from Evan. It is. Once you start going down that road, you never stop. Anita, the Asvine P20, nice pen, great value. And then got a few people here. Shane, Iridium. Miss Marilyn Darling, Iridium as well. Will Hodge, that's what's fun about the pen hobby. It's ever evolving to suit our whims. Absolutely. And, you know, when I first started, I was buying fine and extra fine nibs, but as time's gone on, I'm moved to like broad and stub nibs at the moment. But it could be in a few months' time, I could be moving back the other way. Quite interesting how it evolves, and like with my pen choice as well, how that's evolved as well. Master Mashetia, hopefully I pronounced that right. Noodle is outside of the anti-Semitism is also not very performant. I switched to other brands, they perform so much better. Takesumi is my new black. I used to be Heart of Darkness from Noodlers. Yeah, I think that's part of the issue with Noodlers. It's a one-man band, and his views are not, I don't know how best to describe it. They're not mainstream political correct. Is that might be a good way to put it? I try to avoid thinking about that because at the end of the day, it's the product I'm getting. But part of me also thinks, yes, but when you're buying that product, you're also supporting the person. And do you want to support a person with ideas that you don't agree with? It's quite a difficult conundrum, really. Miss Marilyn Darling, I find that there are certain pens that I would not want to put a staining ink in. Those go my cheapest of cheap pens because I can get another one for not more than $5. Jinhao 992 for the win. Absolutely. Other one, Platinum Preppy. Cheap pen, $8 Aussie. If it gets stained, who cares? $8 Aussie, you just buy another one. What have you lost? So yeah, completely with you on that. Like any ink that I know is going to be staining does go into a cheaper pen. Alia Rose, his views are trash. I won't buy Noodle as anything. Yeah, I say I can understand where you're coming from. BJ, no problems with De Atramentis for me. Works in all my pens. Miss Marilyn Darling, exactly. Master Mashetia, I think about it a bit more because it's local to me. Refresh, got loads of comments coming in. It's brilliant getting all these. Mr. Inky Fingers. Best black ink. Deep black. Noodlers Borealis and Heart of Darkness. Lamy Obsidian and Kaweco Pearl Black. I haven't tried the Kaweco. I had a sample of Lamy Obsidian, which I quite liked. To me, it seemed to come out more grey, but I was using it in fine nibs rather than a broad, so maybe that's why the colour was slightly off, because the pen it was in when I was using it was a fairly dry writer, so that could have affected it. I just bought a Narwhal Pride pen. Comes in the mail on Monday. I can't wait to see everyone reviewing it. Yeah, I looked at that, but then because I just spent all this money on my Apple Boom order, I thought, nah, we won't bother with that. Will Hodge. Nathan Tardif is a unique person. He is a very astute on American history, but his outspoken view is not for everybody. I respect that. Yeah, I say it's hard to separate, though, sometimes a person's views from their actions. Right, let's swap over to the screen again. And let's go full screen. No, hopefully I haven't broken everything. Last time I went full screen, I broke something. So, last week's videos. On Sunday, I had my starter pen recommendations for 2024. Not much change from the previous years, but there was a change. I may later on in the year do like my I may later on in the year do my next level of recommendations as well. Haven't decided on that because I've got a busy second half of the year. Tuesday, that was my first impressions of the Fullywen 2062. Fairly small pen, pocket pen. Not 100% sure what I think of it. I mean, I've just tried it now and it's completely dried out. But saying that, it's been, it could also be dried out because there's no ink left in it. I don't know. Yeah, I need to get some more ink in it and try it out a bit more. I'll pop that in the jar to clean out because then I can refill it. Friday, that was my wrap up for June, so how I got on with my June pens. What surprised me there was the ranking of the Pilot Preppy. I didn't think it was going to come in so high, but when I was going through thinking about it, it seemed to be the right place. No, not really in a screen show mode, that's why we're getting the issue. There we go. So videos coming up in the current week. This afternoon, I'm looking at the Mahjong M1000, so that's a largish wooden pen, and that's going up against the Jinhao 9056, which is a largish wooden pen. Thought that's a good showdown, looking at the two of them. Tuesday, that's my pens in use for July. You've seen most of them already, but that's where I'll be introducing them and talking a bit more about them. Then Friday, I've got a fountain pen showdown, so two showdowns this week. I'm going to look at the Pilot Prera versus the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Two pens roughly the same size. One steel nib, one gold nib. One steel nib, one gold nib. But it's interesting to compare the two. And then my book of the week. So I'm carrying on reading Interesting Times by Terry Pratchett. Now last week I thought it was the one where it was based on Australia. I was wrong. It's based on the Orient, so it's based on China and Japan. It's a Rincewind tale, so we've got lots of Rincewind in there. Not so much of the luggage so far. I'm about 2/3 of the way through now. I love Terry Pratchett books. It's just a nice, easy book to drop into. And yeah, Rincewind, such a comical character. So that's my book of the week. I'll be finishing that, and then my next book will be Terry Goodkind, The Omen Machine. I'm guessing that'll be Wednesday or Thursday that I start that. Well, saying that, that's providing I can get it borrowed from the library. I haven't got here to show you. Let me go back to the camera. I've been using this for, I worked it out, 8 years I've had this. This is a Kindle Paperwhite. When I went to charge it about 6 weeks ago, wouldn't charge. So I thought, damn, we need to replace it. So been putting it off because I've been reading paper books. But now I've finished the paper books for the Terry Goodkind. So I thought, right, I want to go back to reading, on a device because I have to borrow them from the ebooks library. Problem with the Kindle here in Australia, you can't access Overdrive or Libby, which is the app for reading ebooks that you borrow from the library. It doesn't work on the Kindle here. I know it does in the US, but not here. And because it wasn't charging, I thought, well, this is my opportunity. So what I did is we actually got a Kobo. It's one of the newer ones, the Clara Colour. Thought, yeah, let's get the colour screen. That does have Overdrive integration, so I'll be using that. I have tried reading on my iPad and on my phone. It just doesn't seem right to me. The phone's too small, the iPad just too big. Whereas, the Paperwhite was just the right size. And the Kobo Clara just a tiny bit smaller in terms of the size of the actual device, but the screen is the same size, 6 inches. I'll be able to tell you better what I think of the Clara in a few weeks after I've read with it. So let's get rid of this. Let's come out of full screen and close that down. Okay, so we're back to comments. BJ Takesumi is a nice black if you don't need permanence. Blonde Scales 1, I need to figure out my next pen orders. Yeah, I've just ordered that. I've actually placed myself onto the queue with Pens by Casey for another Pens by Casey pen. I saw a picture of one the other day. Oh, it's beautiful. And that hopefully the material will still be there. I will be honest, I've ordered it. When it comes in, I'll be actually giving it straight to my wife. Casey's got quite a queue, so I don't know when it will be. But the idea is hopefully it'll be done before Christmas because it's meant to be my Christmas present from my wife. Yes, I know I order it, but at least then she feels happy that we're getting something that I know that I've checked out. Anita just bought eBay Conklin instead of medium 1.1 stub. Instead of medium 1.1 stub, but learning to. So you bought a 1.1 stub, but learning to love it. I quite like my stubs. I think they add character to my writing. Teresa, which Pride pen? There are two. Oh, I think I've only seen pictures of one. I'll have to have another look, but yeah. Twisby makes good stub if you're on the stub journey. Yeah, I've got a 1.1 in here. This is my Twisby Eco. The ink in here, this is Black Ivy. And it's actually what I use to write the titles on my pages at the moment. So there we go. It does give you some nice line variation. Teresa, Garry, has it turned chilly there? Absolutely. I say when I started this, it was 9 degrees. Now we're up to 11. We've actually got the heating on at the moment. Oh no, the wife's turning it off now. BJ, he said it was cold there. Yeah, I mean, cold is relative. You know, a lot of people say 9 isn't cold, but certainly to me now it is. Blonde Scales 1, I'm already tired of the heat. Yeah, this is one of the things with heat. When it's cold, you can wrap up. When it's hot, there's not much you can do. Well, nice lineup on upcoming videos. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. I was planning, on Friday, I planned out my videos for the next month that I was going to be recording. And I've also planned out another tournament. So we're going to be doing another tournament. The videos for that won't come out until starting in September. It's going to last 3 months because how I'm doing it is each heat is going to have 3 pens in it. That's one of the things I thought after the last one. 2 pens, it's only a 50-50 choice, but 3 I think will give a bit more variety. The first set of 3 pens are going to be Chinese pens. The second set of 3 pens the first 3 heats, which is the first set, is non-Chinese pens. The next 3 heats, pens under $100 that aren't from China. The final 3 heats, pens over $100 not from China. Then the winner of each of those, from the 3 Chinese heats, will go into a semi-final for Chinese pens, one for the 100. So the idea, when we get to the final, there'll be 1 Chinese pen, 1 pen under $100 and 1 pen over $100. So I'm looking forward to that. Teresa, we had heat index of 100 today. Wow, that's hot. BJ, I didn't think I would like my Prera because it's so small, but I've grown to really like it. Yeah, with my Prera, I wasn't overly impressed with it when I first got it, but the more I use it, the more I enjoy it. Alia Rose, I left a pen in my van in the heat last week. It was unwell after that, I bet it was. Oh, this is one of the problems. Teresa, I bet it was. Yep, Chris, love my Kerber, 10 years on and it won't die. Yeah, with my Paperwhite, I'd say it didn't charge. When the Kerber arrived, I noticed there was a way that you can actually get the books off your Kindle, remove the DRM and put them onto the Kerber. So I've done that. So I plugged this in, I thought, let's give it one try. And what do you know, the damn thing charged. So it's 8 years old. So I've still got that and I might still use it from time to time, but really looking forward to trying out the Kobo. Miss Marilyn Darling, my favourite black ink is Private Reserve Velvet Black. It dries matte and flat, where some black inks lift the paper or smear. This one doesn't. Teresa, I'm tempted to get a Prera, so you all like them. Yeah, it's not bad, and I think over here in Australia, I think they're a bit overpriced, but certainly from what I've heard in the States, they're about $30-ish. I think that's quite a reasonable price, and they're not a bad pen, so it just takes a bit of use to getting used to the fact they're small. Blonde Scales 1, I want another Just Turnings 2, maybe for my birthday. It will be cooler by October. Just Turnings, he's come out with a couple. There was a Conway Stewart resin that he came out with the other week, but because I knew I was going for the Apple Boom order and placing this one with Pens by Casey, I didn't. But chances are the next pen I get may very well be a Just Turnings pen, but that won't be for 2 or 3 months. Miss Marilyn Darling, I don't know which one I got. I think it was a rainbow one. Have to make sure which one I got. BJ, I have a brown one in medium, and I've grown to really like it. Yeah, the Preras, they're really nice, and nice options as well. That's good to know about Private Reserve. I'd love a matte blank ink. BJ Pereira, Alia Rose, I've just commissioned a custom glow-in-the-dark pen from Artisan Ink Pens on Etsy. Yeah, I keep looking at Etsy. I've never bought anything off there. Again, it's because of where I live. One of the things I've noticed, that anything you order from Etsy here, the postage is like $30 odd, which is a bit too expensive. Which is a shame because I love the look of the stuff that I look at. Will, the Twisby Eco in 1.1, does well with shimmer ink. It seems to digest the shimmer and deliver it fairly well. Yeah, I've not tried a shimmer ink. The Black Ivy that's in there is a sheening ink. Works really well. Blonde Scales 1, Teresa, I've just ordered Just Turning's Opal pen. Yeah, he's had a number of those coming out on his site lately. BJ, I like my Eco Stub as well. Nice smooth nib. Blonde Scales 1, nice. Miss Marilyn Darling, I love the Pereira. Their cursive medium is really nice. It's a really nice medium nib, and the capping mechanism is so satisfying. Yeah, I do like that. It's also, by the look of it, it's got a cap liner, which is so nice so it doesn't dry out. He has so many nice options. Here we're talking about Just Turnings. I like that his website's up and running now, so it's something that, you can go and look at what he's got available, as well as doing custom orders from him. BJ, the Pereira and Explorer are both solid. I haven't got an Explorer. That's on my list for next time that I get a pen from Pulp Addiction, that I'm going to look at getting that. BJ, nice seal. Yep. BJ, all the nibs are swappable as well. I believe you can swap the nibs from a Pereira with the Explorer and the Metropolitan, and I'm not sure about the Prefronte. Again, I only have the Pereira and the Metropolitan. I do need to explore the others. Any more comments? Right, so, there was another one. Oh no, that was one I've just had. So that's all the comments so far. So let's start wrapping this up because we've been going like well over an hour. Thank you all for your time this morning. I love doing these. As I say, I love the interaction we get. I'll do one more check of comments in a second. But yeah, thank you. Hope you enjoy this. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment. Just helps with the YouTube and every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. There you can see how many times I have to do things when I'm doing my videos. I should maybe keep some of these outtakes up when I do them and maybe do a blooper video at some time. Don't forget there's membership available. Head on over to YouTube and there's a link on YouTube to take you to the membership page. So the membership members, at the moment, they get access to videos 2 days early. So in about, sometime this morning, I will make Tuesday's video available so that they'll actually get Tuesday's video today. Now that I'm getting back into the swing of things, I'm going to start again where we try and do a members-only chat. Last time we tried using, what was it using? Zoom. Not sure if we'll use Zoom again or we'll try something else, but there are perks for being a member. So please, if you can, have a look at that. Any support is greatly appreciated. Back to the comments. Miss Marilyn Darling, Pereira, Metro, Explorer 78G are all swappable. BJ, Kakuno, same nib as well. Thumbs up from Miss Marilyn Darling. Blonde Scales 1, have a great week all and be safe. BJ, thumbs up. Ricardo, I'm saying goodbye to all. Have a great week. Will, bye all. Be safe. Thanks, Gary. Blue, keep well, Gary. Thanks for the video. Andreas, +1 for an outtakes video. Miss Marilyn Darling, thanks, Gary. You hang in there. So good to see you. Take care. Talk soon. Evan, thanks for the welcome, Gary and all. Andreas, bye, everyone. Have a great week. BJ, love, light, health to all. Blue, bye, everyone. Anita, have fun until next week. Let me just do one final refresh. So I'll leave the chat open whilst the outro is playing. So thank you all. Thanks for your time. Love doing these. And I'll talk to you again soon. Outro button. Where are you? Oh no, I'm looking for my outro button. There we go.